Life has thrown me many challenges. Disappointments and tragedies are things we must all face. It is with tremendous sadness that I must accept the financial destruction and untenable malpractice insurance costs which have resulted in the demise of my career. Despite the help of friends and the love and support of my patients, I cannot financially sustain the unreasonable cost of my malpractice insurance premiums. Coupled with the punitive demands placed on me by family court, the practice of medicine is no longer feasible for me, and I must now seek employment in a different career. For 8 years, I have battled to find solutions to the relentless onslaught of punitive financial demands and unethical rulings. I've suffered in family court for exercising my First Amendment rights to free speech and the right to protest peacefully. There is a blatant legal collusion and corruption in family courts nationwide that has been well known for decades, yet the media is reluctant to cover this issue. My childhood dream of becoming a physician was inspired by my mother's occupation as a nurse and love of education. I had always wanted to please her. I was a diligent student and I worked hard to make her proud. Though good grades did not often come easily, I persisted and always strove to achieve my personal best. As a teen, I volunteered in the Veterans Administration Hospital in Northport, where my mother worked, volunteered in the Wyandanch Ambulance Corps, and earned the rank of Eagle Scout. I look back on 4 years of undergraduate education, 2 years of post-bachelor education, 4 years of medical school, 4 years of residency, and 15 years of private practice, and I am heartbroken that they have all gone to waste. I am now homeless and bankrupt. I have no savings. I have no assets, no health insurance. I require a hip replacement. I have no life insurance, no car of my own, nor cell phone of my own. Not to mention that this ordeal has put an incredible strain on the relationship with my fiancée. I was once well liked and respected as a pediatrician. I am now an outcast, a pariah. Colleagues keep a cold distance, and only one obstetric nurse practitioner still returns my calls. Even the same hospital and department I trained in and held privileges in has been ominously slow to return my calls for reinstatement. Staff which once greeted me there enthusiastically and with smiles now has a palpable dislike and prejudice against me. For my inability to sustain an astronomical $15,000 a month in alimony and child support, which was demanded by my ex-wife, I was stripped of my civil rights and sentenced to jail illegally, as there was never a valid court order to do so. Judge Barbara Lenore and Judge Martha Luft never had jurisdiction to incarcerate me. This fact is being covered up by the family court system in Riverhead. They will remain unaccountable, as I do not have the funds to pursue justice in federal court. And even if I did, it would be extremely unlikely that I would have a successful case. Their actions resulted in a $6,000 per month child support obligation, which is greater than 30% over my calculated obligation at my former salary. This obligation was raised to $9,500 per month while I was incarcerated, with 9% interest. Naturally, I had no income while incarcerated, so I cannot meet this demand, as well as other debt, including malpractice premiums. After serving 6 months in jail, I was faced with over $250,000 in child support arrears. The public should be made aware of the profitable enterprise of child support enforcement agencies and family courts. Child support enforcement agencies oversee the national transfer of over $40 billion per year while charging up to and over 12% interest. My obligation was raised to $13,500 per month in child support for 4 children. This does not include any other debt such as alimony, medical school bills, personal debt for the practice I've lost as a result of false imprisonment. I was further penalized when the Child Support Enforcement Agency revoked my driver's license and passport. I now have less rights than a terrorist who threatens this nation. Child Support Enforcement Agency still holds the power to revoke my medical license, which I am certain may happen after this post. I cannot return to practice medicine until reestablishing malpractice insurance after incarceration. Since there was a gap in my coverage, my malpractice insurance carrier demands $65,000 to cover a span of time that had months prior cost me $15,000 per year. Being unable to independently find a malpractice carrier, I turned to a broker who found a carrier for me that would insure my malpractice, but at double the cost, not for full-time practice, but for part-time practice. I would now only be insured for part-time hours at twice my former premium, plus his $8,000 per year commission. Though I was promised a decrease after my first year, my premium has increased each year since my incarceration. After 3 years of part-time practice with 0 claims, that same policy now costs me just under $55,000 per year. By the time child support and malpractice insurance is subtracted from my gross pay, I am left with $570 every 2 weeks. This calculates to less than minimum wage, and I am a pediatrician with 15 years of private practice experience. Though I have sought and found moonlighting opportunities, any increase in hours raises my malpractice premium to the vicinity of $67,000, thus worsening diminishing returns. As of March 2016, my child support arrears total $479,120.83 plus interest. This amount increases $13,500 each month. I will never be able to pay this debt, and this is the goal of child support enforcement agencies. Placing this punitive requirement on me will guarantee that I will be in the debt of the Child Support Enforcement Agency for the rest of my life. On top of that insurmountable burden placed on me by the Child Support Enforcement Agencies, I have a financial obligations to patients and family members who've loaned me over $180,000, thank you, to finance my former practice and paid debt. I have managed to whittle that debt down, but after 8 years I still owe friends with blue-collar jobs their savings. Money saved for the intent of caring for their own children and providing their educations. Sadly, one of these dear friends passed away and I still owe him money. My career is far shorter than I had ever dreamed. I once dreamed of being a grandfather and still caring for children, just like in the Norman Rockwell painting. Though my career was shorter than I had wished, I am blessed to have had my dream realized. The honor of humbly serving you over the years has been a profound honor that words cannot describe. We have shared births, birthdays, and weddings together. I have seen your children grow, and in some cases, have children of their own. I have also shared in sorrow with you through sickness and death. In the twilight of my career, you have loaned me vehicles, donated furniture for my home, and even given me clothing. I humbly thank you. With all of my heart, I thank you for supporting me through this horrible nightmare and each of my attempts to recover. It is with great sorrow that I face this defeat. I offer my congratulations to those who were determined to disgrace me and see me fail. From my former practice and ex-partner to my ex-wife's attorneys, her friends, and her family. May you rejoice in your victory and celebrate your accomplishments, especially in alienating me from 2 of my children. I have special mention for my ex-wife's attorney, Elizabeth Dieza, Esquire, for not only mocking my depression in court, but for her complete disregard for the children and families I care for, with her blanket response during my trial that they can easily find another doctor. I challenge Ms. Dieza to find a doctor that still does house calls and sees poor people for free in this day and age. one that has literally taken the shirt off of his back or given freely the little money he had left, one that truly cared and loved for the people he was blessed to watch over. My final thanks to Judges Lenore and Luft for their reckless miscarriage of justice and destruction of all in my life. A death sentence would have been more merciful to the slow death and parental alienation their careless actions have resulted in. I have been humiliated and disgraced. I have been successfully alienated from 2 of my children. I am depressed and bereft of hope, and now at 49 years old, I must seek a new career. For the 2 million people who face divorce every year, learn what has happened to me and the countless others like me. Heed our warnings and protect yourself. If you care to learn more of my story, please look on Facebook under Dr. Carlos Rivera, March for Awareness, or on YouTube, Dr. Carlos Rivera, Parental Alienation Awareness.